All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're looking at the Thor tier list. What started out was Hey, kill yourself. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have our Thor tier list, which was originally supposed to be an MCU suit tier list. We've actually decided off camera that we're just going to add all most famous types of media in terms of.
We added most of the different kinds of Thor.
We got Norse mythology. We got God of War Ragnarok. We actually had to add Endgame, the tier list maker that was already preset online. We had to add Endgame.
There's also a actual Thor statue made by Vikings that we just added in for the fun of it, as well as a very famous depiction from some painting from a couple hundred years ago that now everybody associates with the character because Wikipedia decided to put it as the main photo for the character. We should maybe explain how we're on what criteria we're ranking these off of.
That's so real.
So I think it's going to be mainly aesthetics. Well, it can be from whether or not we think it's comic book accurate, or if it just has a really nice design, or whatnot. And I guess we'll explain our reasoning as we go.
We aren't a company, so there is no 0 through 10 consistency. It's just we're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yep.
So
basically.
I mean, don't expect any oh, this suit is good because of this reason, outside of pure bias.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay. S is peak. It's hard to go against. An S plus is the number one. I think that's champion.
So only one spot going there.
As I was going through my Captain America video, I was like, at the very top, it should just be one suit that's champion. That's top tier. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Now I think we're gonna disagree on who goes to S plus.
Probably. That's when we start fist fighting. Skyrim, Bobby Knuckles type shit.
Yeah, we're gonna be like, I yield.
One of us goes down grabbing the belly.
Yeah, I know, we're going,
now I'm your companion.
Yeah, now all of a sudden you've earned my undying respect.
I will follow you to the ends of the earth. Okay, so this first Thor right here, this was from the Incredible Hulk TV show. I believe it was season 2. I might be completely wrong. But this was, historically, I believe, Marvel's first live-action crossover. And the crazy part is Thor never had a live-action anything back then. They just showed up in Thor. So, this one, literally, there kind of is no context behind it, but it is the first... back in the day, there was no such thing as comic book accuracy because everything just looked fucking silly. You know what I mean? And I think this is a really, really great try at bringing Thor into the real world. Is it a good suit? It looks pretty comic silly, but it also looks very Viking-ish, especially for the 80s, 90s.
It looks very much to me like the sort of stereotypical 19th century opera version of Vikings. So before archaeology had really advanced and we actually knew, people had forgotten for a while what things actually looked like. So we just sort of went, oh, well, they must have all wear furs and little plates everywhere.
If I remember correctly, I think he also had the helmet, that generic barbarian
with the horns on it.
I don't think it had horns on it, but
just the generic one.
Yeah, I do think he did have that.
I'll give it points for just being the first representation of the Norse god of thunder, who has become so famous over the last 20, 30 years. I mean, it's the first time he's been in cinema, right? And I'll give Marvel credit for that, is that they have popularized the character and the mythology in a way I don't think just teaching people about it ever would have. So, yeah.
I think I'm going to drop it in C because I think it's a good start because it's, again, a perfect mix of comic book silly, real life silly, but they did try to resemble Norse mythology or Viking heritage, that kind of aesthetic.
They tried to represent how people at the time viewed Vikings, which was mainly through opera and that kind of thing. So yeah.
See?
Yeah, see, I agree. It's a good start, but it's certainly not great.
Yeah. I kind of want to skip to this one and just throw it away. This one's kind of pissing me off just looking at it.
Why? Is it because of the cloak?
It's just...
I mean, to me, it's interesting because just having just the cloak, I'm sure Thor was thought of as having some kind of armor, especially since he has the Yarngraper in mythology, the iron gauntlets that were allowed him to hold the hammer. What I find interesting about it is just having that cloak kind of look does sort of more invoke a sort of casual Norse dress for the time.
I guess, but like he has armor under it. I don't remember
Does he have armor under
I
it?
think this was from the Dark World when he was sneaking around with Loki. I might be wrong, but yeah, you can see like he has like a plate under it, I think.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Where would you throw this?
It's, to me, it's better than the old version. So maybe if it does go to C, it should go above or ahead of it in C. But if it doesn't, then maybe B.
I honestly think this is an F. I think
Really?
this is fucking trash.
Really? Okay, I'd put that above the old version, because the only thing I'd give the old version credit for is at least attempting to put the characters in cinema.
I think we can put it in C.
Okay.
And the order of it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
It means that these are equal. Anyways, this is from the 2011 Thor movie. I think this one's fucking beautiful. I love this one to no end. So I'm a huge comic book nerd, and seeing this come to life in this, the context behind this, and the reason why I'm gonna score this so high. When Captain America, Hulk, and Iron Man came out, they were all as comic accurate as you can get while still being realistic, and that's why I love those aesthetics. Thor is Marvel and Norse mythology. It's goofy no matter what you do to it. It's impossible to make it realistic and not make it look goofy. They somehow hit right on the head of the nail. This looks fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
Are you making fun of me because I'm retarded?
No,
Are you
because
making fun of me
no. You said hit it on the nail with the hammer.
Yeah, you know
the hammer joke. I will agree. This is the first time I think I ever saw the character, because I wasn't into comics as much as a kid, and I'll say I did like when I first saw it. I loved the design. Part of that is because I didn't really delve into the mythology as much, but I can see the appeal. It is a very nice and clean design.
I think the first Thor movie, first off, great movie. I will never forgive you guys for not liking Thor when he was a serious character. But I think every costume in that movie was peak. Every single design was amazing. Now, Thor specifically, the only gripe I have about this suit, it really isn't even a gripe. It's just it's nitpicking. I wish he wore the helmet more. I don't know if you remember, but like when he was being crowned King of Asgard, he had a whole steel helmet, and I thought that was pretty.
That would have been nice, but I get where they're
100%.
I get where they're trying to de-comic it a little.
Most of the time when they have movies, they want to show the star's face.
That
like
too.
Spider-Man always rips off his mask, but he's a fucking secret identity.
that's one of the big problems with lots of medieval or like inspired movies is, historically speaking, you'd want your helmet on most of the damn time during battle.
It would be the smart decision.
And then you see stuff like Ridley Scott. He literally, I can't remember what the movie's called, but it was a couple of years ago. They literally had a half helmet.
Really?
Where it literally showed,
do that all the time
it literally was designed where like it wasn't broken. It was just that it was a half helmet. Yeah. It's like, okay, buddy, I guess you want this eye gouged out, not this one. Yeah. It's like whatever. But like I get where they're coming from, especially since he is meant to be a literal god, and I get that he's not gonna have a Harold Godwinson problem. He ain't gonna have an arrow just and then he's dead. you know.
So 10 years later, he was just soaking up a sun.
Yeah, basically. Literally. And didn't they say it was like a neutron star?
Yeah, it was a dying neutron star.
Which is like that's even more dangerous than like a fully like living star, because this is radiation crap. Of course they didn't. I'm sure they weren't thinking about that when they were making it, but whatever, right? It's a cool design. I would put it at A.
I was gonna say A as well. And this next one is gonna be the 2012 Avengers, the first Avengers film. I think that this is. It's pretty equivalent to the Thor costume, but it's a lot less shiny, and I think that in a major way puts it down. Also, the cape isn't as up, so his shoulders don't look as prominent. So I think this is the same thing as the 2011 Thor movie suit. It's just they did it worse.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. And I didn't notice much of a difference before you pointed it out. but I do prefer, like, if he's meant to be a god, right, from like, and or even like as they say, near enough to gods, from a very wealthy supposed empire in space that has like the best stuff around, it should be that nice shiny looking metal, because it's like he's the prince of a kingdom, and he's the one of their best warriors. He's gonna show it off. Even though I do get part of it was he got humble during the first film, you would still in a battle scenario want to show off, right? A little bit. It's that whole tactic of, yeah, and I get that it's not, he's not literally going to war in this film, but you still would want that on hand. You still would want that.
He wears more shiny armors later on, so it's not even that he got humbled. It's just, I'm gonna break kayfabe here. It was to sell toys.
Yeah,
that's
probably.
what it was to do. He's more blue, which is cool. Like, I'm not. It's not a bad suit. It just, you started us off with peak.
Yeah.
And then you forgot to tie your shoes. You know what I mean? That's
Is it the freaking? I was gonna say, put the clip of SpongeBob just like falling, like oh, the freaking.
I don't know where. I guess for me it would be
I would have to be B, because it's lower than A.
Sure as hell not like
it's
B.
better than C. Yeah, so it's got to be B.
Yes. This looks like the Dark World. I don't remember it looking like this. I'll tell you that much. But wow. Not wow as in like the tier, but it literally looks like it took all the downgrades from the Avengers movie and just changed the color. So it's the exact same suit, but now it's like a dark gold or maybe a copper. I don't remember it looking like that. I kind of don't like the way it looks. I mean, points for creativity. Again, it's probably just to sell toys and all that stuff, but I don't think that looks like a good suit.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I do think he should have some gold elements in his design, or if not, just the pure silver, like in the first one. But as he said, it's not as good as the first movies. It's still I agree. Now that you pointed out too, I do agree that it's better with the more squared off shoulders. Yeah. Makes him look more heroic that way. Yeah, I don't think it's anything special.
I would love it if it was gold or copper, and maybe it's just this particular image, but it doesn't even look like blingy. It just looks like a poo brown color on his chest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not good.
So no, I would say F, or I think F. I wouldn't put it in WoW. WoW was like, holy shit, what were you thinking?
But do you think that is below the 80s version?
Because, yes, I do think so, because, like, again, we're not supposed to bring context in. We're just supposed to, like, think of, like, the style. But I'm going to break the rules here because fuck you. The reason why I say that is because we've already gotten Thor 2011. You downgraded a little bit with the Avengers. You just got 10 times worse. So I think, given the context, the Incredible Hulk show Thor, they had no... no foundation and no budget. They literally made this off of nothing. Whereas Thor: The Dark World suit, you've had
it in a cave with a box of scraps.
It's like the actual context behind it. But Thor: The Dark World, now we're 4 years deep into this franchise Thor, and this is what you come up with. I think that's a terrible play.
Yeah, downgrade after downgrade, you do have to punish him a little for that.
What I mean? Punisher, Frank Castle reference. Okay. Do we agree F?
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have personally put it in C, but F is okay too.
This one is Age of Ultron. I think this is just a reused suit. So we have 2 Age of Ultrons here.
What's interesting about the Age of, he doesn't have any armor.
I didn't even notice that. Wow.
He doesn't even have any armor.
Look at that. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the first Thor movie one is still the undefeated champion here.
I absolutely agree. So it's nowhere near A. Like, A is going to be untouched for a little bit.
I think it could be B, though, because even though he doesn't have the armor, and I think the armor's cool, it still looks appropriate for the character, if that makes any sense.
I agree. I think I would agree B. I was thinking a lot lower, but now that you say it, they went back with the silver. He does look a little bulkier. And again, it might just be the perspective of the picture that was taken. But sleeveless Thor does look a lot more heroic, honestly. He looks a lot less like a warrior and a lot more like a god. Like he's actually showing off, like, come fucking get me, I'm not scared.
It does sort of invoke more of that like Greco-Roman, like sword and sandal kind of aesthetic.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, yeah,
like
it does.
Pure skill. Like that's especially how much faith I have in myself.
Especially with those like old school sort of bracers.
Bracelets,
which of course, if you know, basically those weren't really a thing, but in history. But who cares? If we're going just by aesthetic, and this is he isn't meant to be historically any culture. He's meant to be an alien.
This is what Thor really looked like.
He's meant to be in this context. He's meant to be an alien prince, right?
Yeah.
So okay, cool, right? Maybe it's in their fashion to have bracers, and it looks cool. Absolutely. I will admit, it looks cool.
This is Age of Ultron as well. Just looks like they added sleeves, and maybe again it might be the lighting, but now we're back to the copper gold.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it, man. I feel like it doesn't blend well. How do you feel about the gold? Like what is this? A copper?
Maybe, I don't know.
It just doesn't blend well.
The problem is they're almost. I get what they're trying to do. Just like the bracers and the sleeveless thing, they're trying to go for like the old style, like Greek, almost the Greek chest plate, where you got like the chiseled muscular design. I think even it was, what was it? The Romans. They had a word for it, like a musculato or something. They called it something like that, right? As a form of actual armor. And that is an interest, they're trying to do the whole, look, he's like a Greek god, which is ironic because he's a Norse god aesthetic. But if you're going to go with the bronzy color, go all out. Go like almost like polished brass.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because I feel like there's just too many colors. Yeah, I feel like you just need to pick like what. Now I know I feel like a 2-year-old for saying like, oh, it's too much. There's 3 fucking colors.
Well, yeah, but they're not blending it right.
I agree.
What they like, I don't even mind having silver with the brass color, but like segmented out. Like you have the circular things, you have those, have the silver, and then have the actual chest plate be a solid bronze or brass with maybe some like silver lining.
Yes, I agree.
And then you have the arms be maybe like alternating scale patterns of silver and brass. That would be nice.
That would be amazing. Actually.
That would be nice. Yeah, but
it feels like the colors are trying to overpower each other, and there's no direction of. What's the color scheme, in my opinion? Okay, you know what? I'd say either C or F. I'm kind of leaning more towards C.
I'm leaning towards C as well because it still remains similar to the other Age of Ultron one.
Yeah.
And they do add back the arm armor, which I do like the arm armor. And I'm not gonna lie, his shoulders look the most squared off here as compared, like almost looks like the first Thor's shoulders. So I think that saves it from being an F.
That, and at the very least, he does look a lot more hopeful and heroic. As even though it is still like a dark color scheme, it's a little brighter than the Dark World. Yeah. So I do think that he's a god. He represents what he represents. Having a colorful suit is, at least in superhero universe logic, having a colorful suit is representation of your personality.
Yeah, because if you're Invincible, just place the Invincible logo. You don't need to camouflage yourself. It is good to use those colors to mean something, like a flag, basically.
This next one is Thor Ragnarok, and these look like duplicates. Maybe one doesn't have the cape.
No, because one of them is the one that he's dressed in when he gets to the garbage planet. Yeah, that one. I don't. I feel like there's a difference there. I can see a little bit of a difference.
I do see this one as way worse, because this is still Thor from Asgard, the Prince of Asgard, but he's been stripped of everything. Yeah. Like, there's nothing it looks like he's just wearing leather. Now, to be fair, this scene, he had to quickly suit up because Odin just passed away, and he was talking with Loki. Loki was in a suit, and Thor and Loki like, oh, someone's coming through a gateway, that we're in danger. So this was a quick suit up. This is the emergency backup suit, I guess. Doesn't make sense logically because...
I mean, he can summon the suit at any time,
You know what I mean? So I don't like this suit, to be honest with you.
I have something interesting. Thematically speaking, I think it would have made more sense to have him wear something closer to the first movie's suit here, because that way it still looks like it's like he lost his dad, but he still got himself.
Exactly.
Right? And by the end of the movie, he's lost almost everything.
Exactly.
So it would have made more sense for him as part of that, like cutting the hair, to lose the hair, to lose the look, to lose the suit as well, right? So that would have made more sense, I think,
You should be a fucking director, because the symbolism of your first suit up in the movie, you're fully back, you're Thor, you have your hammer gets crushed, your hair gets taken away, your weapons get taken away, now all your clothes get taken away, and you have to use these trash battle shields and shit.
Yeah, you gotta
that
use
would be so
crap.
symbolic. That would have been so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's kind of hard. Now, I do think it's a little bit complicated to make a very good Thor suit, but I think it's very hard to also screw it up. And this Thor suit, the best way I can describe it is if you're making a grilled cheese and you forgot the fucking cheese. You know what I mean? And that's my best way of describing it. Like, it's super plain. You forgot some very key ingredients.
To me, it'd be like if you made a grilled cheese and you just used American. You didn't put any cheddar in it. You didn't put any...
No garlic salt.
You didn't put you didn't put any butter on it. You didn't put any ham in it or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you put a slice of the cheapest American you could find.
I'm fucking hungry. I think this goes in WoW. I think this is just WoW. Like, that's what you came up with?
True.
What do you think?
You know what? The more we talk about it, the more I agree.
Yeah,
because
I think we gotta cut the lights off on this, because we're gonna keep dogging.
At first, I didn't even like hate it or anything.
Me neither.
But if I'm being honest, even the Dark World suit has something on it. At least it's trying.
This one doesn't look bad at all, to be honest. But like when it's next to the rest of them,
yeah, it's in comparison.
It's not incomprehensible. It's incomparable.
Inconceivable.
It's inconsiderate. You wow f.
Yeah, wow. We can put a wow.
Wow. This next one is the gladiator suit. I think you really you buffed it up for me, because I thought this was going to be in the same category as the last one. But him, given the context, I know. Excuse me, I'm not supposed to give context, but
well, the context can, if you think about it, context is the glasses that you have on when you're looking at the thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's just who I am. I think the reason why you're dressing the way you do is just as important as
the aesthetic
itself.
Yeah.
You can see he has a shoulder pad. He's got swords. He has the new shield. He has like war paint all over him, including his face. He's got the haircut. This like the war paint. A completely new direction of Thor, and it looks a little inspired by the Unworthy Thor, which was a great comic series, which is a great story. I actually really do like this. Compared to the other ones, I don't know, because it's so unique.
I think part of it is you're not supposed to compare it to the... I mean, well, no.
100%.
Well, no, I'm actually reverse that. You're supposed to contrast it with the other ones.
100%. I think it's the exact same thing as like, oh, Iron Man, what are you without your suit? Well, I'm fucking smart, and I still know how to take people down. Like, this is Thor without the hammer, without the Asgardian like riches, without direction from my father. Who am I? I'm fucking Thor. I'm the god of lightning. Yeah, you know what I mean. Or god of thunder. Jesus, come on. Where's Zeus when you need him? You know what I mean? Yeah. I think like symbolically, this is a really cool suit. I think C, B, somewhere around there. Like, I'm really high for me on that.
You know what? At one point I want to make is they had the helmet.
They did. I was so cool to see that in the trailer. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. They had the helmet with the wings, and that's interesting because that is the classic comic book look for him. Yeah. And I do like the fact, I did like the aesthetic they chose of like trying to make it look almost like a trippy 80s like sci-fi.
The soundtrack and everything.
Yeah, or even just like the bright colors and the weird shapes and stuff. And this does represent, in a way you can almost put it as like the turning point, like he was saying. It's like, oh well, there's a discontinuity here. Yeah. And I will admit that even in that context, it's not as good as the first suit, but that's kind of the point, is that it's not meant to be as good. I would say maybe B tier or maybe C tier.
I was thinking B or C as well.
But okay, to decide which one, we got to decide what it's better than, what's worse than.
That's so true, because I was like,
so would you like it over the Age of Ultron with the full sleeves?
I would.
Yeah?
But would I put it over the Incredible Hulk? I don't know. Because they're kind of the same thing. They're like, okay, this is what he looks like in the comics. And they went in their own completely different direction to just show creativity. Would I put it in the same category as the first Avengers? I would not. Would I put it in the same category as Age of Ultron, the silver one? I would. So, I don't know. I think you should be the deciding factor. Like, walk through, what do you think it should be in? Because I'm cool with it being in either.
I think, despite it appearing in only one movie and being very different than the rest, it's kind of iconic.
Hey, it's right fucking there.
Yeah, it's that iconic, right? I think it's iconic enough for a B.
Yep, I think it's a B as well. The rest of the list I'm super excited for. Yeah. I'm so fucking excited. I think this is where the real conversations are going to happen. And we've probably already been doing this for like 30 minutes.
Probably.
So let's run it. This next one is from Infinity War. Before we even talk about this, Infinity War is easily in the top 3 conversation for best superhero movies of all time.
Yeah.
That was such a good movie.
I would say if Endgame had been better, and I don't know what your opinion of Endgame is, if it was a great or if it was or whatever. I think Endgame kind of fell short of what Infinity War promised.
Yeah.
And I think if Endgame had been better, Infinity War could have been remembered as like one of the best like part ones of a great duology.
You think Endgame brought down Infinity War?
A little bit, not by much, but like
his reputation.
Just by the fact that you have all the cool stuff that happened in Infinity War, and then some of it kind of fell flat and didn't have an ending.
I do kind of.
Yeah.
The way that I see it, Endgame is, I don't think it was a great movie, but I thought it was a fantastic celebration movie. And sometimes it's okay to do that. Sometimes it's okay to phone it in and just celebrate what you've created.
Yeah,
it was a good conclusion for those who just wanted a happy ending. So I thought that was okay. But if you want good story and good direction and continuity, Infinity War runs circles around it. You know what I mean? No,
I'm the guy who likes when the story is got a nice through line. It's got a nice setup and payoff.
100%.
That's me.
We will make another video about this because I'd love to talk about.
Yeah, that would be great.
But Infinity War, Endgame, or Infinity War Thor.
Cool look.
This is a beautiful suit.
Yeah. It's weird too because it's dark.
Yeah.
Which is what we were complaining about with the Ragnarok suit, but it looks more like something he'd wear.
Symbolically, I have lost everything. Everything that made me who I am, I have lost. So I think this dark is the exact same thing what Spider-Man had when he had the symbiote suit.
You're right. It's like a dark rebirth.
Exactly. He is a different person. He's out for blood. And that's not normally who I am. But you took everything from me. No matter how many times I showed mercy or resilience or patience, you kept coming at me and took everything away from me. My brother, who already died 3 fucking times. You killed my best friend. You slaughtered half my people. You are the reason why my dad passed away. I no longer have a home.
Yeah.
You've now killed most of my friends and family, and like the Avengers and all the people of Earth who I'm supposed to be protecting.
Yeah.
You've stolen all the relics I was meant to protect.
Like literally it's just failure after failure after failure after failure.
Exactly. Even in a weekend, by the way.
Even when he clutches it, it becomes a failure. even when he does the impossible and saves his people from literal Ragnarok, the end of the gods, he still gets them annihilated, and that's, of course, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
But that's the point. Is like it's you could play O Fortuna here. It's freaking the dramatic as fortune strikes down the strong man, right?
Yeah.
And this is his dark, I don't want to sound like emo or whatever, but this is his dark vengeance mode. He's got, you notice, even his weapon is more aggressive now because it has an edge.
I was just about to mention, like, he sought out a new weapon to personally stick it up your ass.
And even, like, the hair is short, which could symbolize It's no fun and games anymore. It's practicality, and that's it. And that could also be part of the suit, right? Is it has all the practicality of the old suit, but none of the flashiness, because it's not about showing off anymore. It's not about playing games anymore. It's about just getting the job done.
I love how we're just making shit up.
But it works.
But that's the point of art. No, it's how you interpret it. That's what we're doing. We're talking about.
In a way, by making it up, we're making it real.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Even if this isn't what they intended, the fact that this means so much to us, that means you did a good fucking job. Well, yeah, that's what that means.
The fact that you can read this into it, is good. That shows, because I'm sure there was somebody on the... Yeah, I agree he's an A tier.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's the only other one that I think is on the same level as the first one, definitely.
This is how he started and how he ended.
Yeah, literally.
So cool.
Literally, yeah. It is kind of a cool cycle there, yeah.
This is going to be Thor from Endgame. Pretty much the same suit, however, Thor has gone through a major depression arc, and after a little bit of time travel, he brought back Mjolnir, and now he's using both of his Asgardian-made weapons to destroy his enemies.
Personally, I think that was... I get the idea that he'd get depressed after that, but I feel like that isn't his personality. I feel like they wrote him wrong there. I feel like instead of becoming depressed and like giving up, he would just become like dead set on what he has left.
I love characters that are undeniably hopeful, unbreakable. Luke Skywalker, Superman, those types of characters. Thor, I am actually super glad. Now, I have a lot of critiques with this. I'm super glad that they went a different direction. He broke. Yeah. Because what the fuck else am I fighting for? My people are gone. My family is gone. I've lost everything that means, and I know.
Well, that's something I'd argue about, is people aren't gone. There's still some of them left.
That's true, but remember, he felt like a failure. He blamed himself for the whole thing.
I just feel like, from the way his personality's been written throughout the series, he would have instead become... Don't get me wrong, he would have broke, but he would have broken like a different way. He wouldn't have become like a mess. He would have become like a tyrant almost. He would have been like...
I don't think I'd like that.
I think that would be interesting. Like, you'd almost want nothing to do with the entire... Like, when the Avengers come to get him again, they're like, hey, we're going to fix this. He'd probably almost be like, no, I can't mess this up again.
Yeah.
You know, he'd be
I can't chase ghosts.
Yeah. He'd be like dead set on what he's got left. And it would have to be, you'd have to write something in to make it to where, to break this new facade of armor, literal armor, that he would have over him.
Fantasy booking, if we were directors and we were to go with that direction, I would agree. And I would honestly say, like, he was like, yeah, he would just put his palm in their face, go like, nope, leave my property. And his people would convince him, hey, dude,
yeah, that would make sense.
You owe it to us.
That would be the best thing,
that actually. That would be good. I do think that the way that they went about it, though, I thought it was great, but the way that he was motivated to get back on the Avengers was a joke.
Yeah, that's literally a joke.
We have beer on the ship. Brother, I got beer in my house. The fuck? You know what I mean?
But, I feel like this was almost his humiliation arc, and exactly. I don't like that.
I really hate how audiences and Disney towards the end of it really treated it as like, oh, this depressed guy lost everything, now he's fat.
I mean, this is my favorite superhero, right?
Yeah.
This is a superhero that got me into Norse mythology.
Yeah.
Literally, right? And, you know, how much I've learned from that, and how much I respect the idea of this character. Right? Of like this stoic divine protector, right? A divine guardian, the power of nature literally at his fingertips. And you're going to just turn him into a crappy, like, loser who's in The
Big Lebowski.
Yeah, literally, right? Technically the dude, but yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if people would get like, I'm the dude. Like, can I just say that and people will know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. But
you're right.
But if we're going just based off of the armor, which is what or the aesthetic, because it's not just the armor.
The braided beard, the long hair is
I do
back.
like that.
I love this suit, but
you know what? I wouldn't even mind if they had made it to where he wasn't as toned as before, where he wasn't as like defined muscles.
Yeah.
But they made him fat.
I think the fat is cool. I don't give a fuck about that at all. Like, you don't have to be all chiseled and
I know that's the thing, right? I get that, but it's in the context of the version of the character. Like, we're gonna go to God of War Thor here in a moment, and I think that works with that version of the character.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, precisely. But with this version of Thor,
that's true.
I don't think it works.
You're 100%.
I think I do like the beard though. I do like the braided beard.
Yeah.
I will admit, yeah.
I think B, honestly, bro.
B, yeah. Now we're on Thor: Love and Thunder. I didn't even watch that one.
This is the beginning where it's like a training montage. Like, immediately after Endgame, he's with the Guardians and he's just getting back in shape. And now he's motivated because killing Thanos was the deciding factor of him becoming a good king again. This is now listen, it's style. This has nothing to do with Thor.
So you say this is like Thor, but if it's a rock and roll star trying to be Thor.
So I'm not going to say it's WoW, because it's not trash, but it's not Thor. The only reason why I'm putting it in F and not lower is because it symbolizes that Thor is himself again.
Okay.
If that makes sense. But I still think it's F because it's like, you could have done something.
I guess, because if we remember in Ragnarok, and during the beginning, when he goes to Doctor Strange and all that, he did have like normal clothes too.
Yeah. That's true. That's absolutely true. He just changed up his style.
Yeah, F, yeah.
Let's go right into this one. This is the main costume. This one, it's not bad at all. I actually think it's better than Age of Ultron because it has that gold copper look, but it looks more matted.
Part of it is that they did contrasting colors a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, technically, I think the opposite of yellow on the color wheel is purple, but blue is pretty close.
Yeah.
Right? So it's one of those where it's like they really stick out from each other, unlike the muted coppers and the sort of muted silvers. They don't really, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will admit that they did choose a good color palette. Yeah, that's all I really got to say.
I will say I'm glad that this is the image. We didn't choose this image. This one was preset with the website that we're using. I'm very glad that this suit, or this picture, is not the one with the helmet, because the helmet looked so ugly. Did you see the helmet?
No.
Oh my god, it was ugly. Holy ugly, bro. Jesus Christ.
I think part of the reason why is because it's like CG crap too.
Thank you, exactly. But even then, if they made it in real life, like, this looks fine. This looks okay.
Yeah.
But like this right here, like, is he playing for the fucking NFL Thunderbolts or something? Like, what are we talking about right now?
I think part of the problem is that...
Come on.
I think part of the problem with that helmet is that it is gold, and like, it'd be fine if just the wings were gold. But the fact that the rest of it's gold means it kind of is like blending a little with his hair.
Yes, like, he looks like he's supposed to be like Electro. He looks like Electro.
Maybe, yeah.
From Spider-Man.
Yeah, I could see it.
But look how pretty this first one is, man. Look how fucking perfect it is.
Yeah, for the I would say, actually, if you know what, if I'd be honest, I'd put the wings of the third one on the first one. Just the wings, not anything else.
I think I disagree. The only thing that I would change about this first one is if it fit his skull better, like Ragnarok did. It makes no sense. Regardless, I do like how this fits his skull, but oh my god, dude, just the pure silver, it looks so pretty.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's not real feathers, it's a helmet, it's extra protection. I love it.
Yeah.
Anyways, wow, love some ADHD tubers, huh?
It's a good color palette, but yet again, I'll say I don't think it's Thor.
I agree. This looks a lot more like something, if we're talking MCU, it looks more like something Zeus would wear.
Yeah, probably, actually.
I mean, now I do like what like Zeus's design in the movie. I do actually like it. I just wish. Anyways, I'll talk about Thor: Love and Thunder for fucking days about trash it was. But this, I think I'd put it in either F or C. Right now, I am kind of wishing we had a D, because I don't think it's deserving of either of these rankings. But I think I don't know.
Would you consider it better than the Dark World?
That's a good question. Would you?
Okay, I don't know, but you did say that the reason you put the the rock coat vest Thor there is because you said it's not Thor, right?
That's
and we
true.
did say that one's
true.
not Thor.
That's
so if we're going by consistency, then it would be F. Then
are you cool? Are you cool with doing it?
I mean, but okay, you know what? Actually, I would go with C just because it's a good design. Yeah. It's just not. It's not.
The reason why I think this ups these two is because it is colorful. It does represent that, like, I'm Thor, I'm back.
Yeah.
And it's hopeful in a way. I love bright colors for superheroes. That's just my opinion. I love bright colors. I love goofiness.
I don't know if I love goofiness, but I do. I can agree that you shouldn't be freaking completely Zack Snyder turn all the colors to sepia or whatever.
Goofiness isn't like the perfect word for it, but like just a little bit of explanation as to why I say goofy. Superman wears underwear on the outside of his suit because he shows people, I'm a good guy. You're not supposed to take me seriously. I will defend you, but don't take me seriously. I like being like a family guy. Wait a second, say that again. But you know what I mean? So not like goofy as like duh.
Peter, the Superman's here.
Now I think we should go on to the last MCU.
Yeah, one in the list.
Now, let me get the first word in on this. For me, out of everything on this board, I personally believe this is easily the title holder. I think this should be S+. I fucking love this suit.
I was going to say I do like the fur-ish kind of cloak.
It makes him look like he is the ruler of Asgard. This looks like a king.
That does.
The Stormbreaker that he has, it's massive. He controls the thunder. He has his long hair back. He's back to the trimmed, clean beard. The big
I don't know. I feel like if he was more of a kingly look, would have the long beard.
I do agree, but he's still technically young.
Yeah, you're right. I guess theoretically, yeah. But continue. Sorry.
He's sleeveless, which I do prefer the sleeves. But this one, he was so jacked in this movie.
Yeah.
So jacked. It would have been a disgrace to have the sleeves on.
Okay.
And in this movie, they were gold. That would have ruined this whole thing. The sleeves were gold.
I just realized if we're putting this in S+, there's nothing in S.
That's true. But this, I really do believe nothing's ever beating this. And I have a plan on putting at least one thing in S after this.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I forgot. We still have 4 more.
This is just the last MCU suit.
Okay,
so none of the MCU suits made it to S, which is kind of crazy. I would personally put it in S+.
Okay,
and
yeah.
Your thoughts?
I'd say sure, yeah, because like he's got the Stormbreaker, and that is more of a kingly weapon. Unfortunately, if we're talking about context, the context is not great.
I don't even remember the context of this. Like, why was he wearing this?
I mean, I just meant the movie in general that it's in.
The movie.
I guess
this is probably the only one so far where I'm fully going off of aesthetics.
Yeah,
and that's pure bias. Again, I'm not a company. For me, it's S+. It's so perfect.
I'll say yeah. From what I'm seeing of it, and from what I've seen of it, sure. I would agree that it's not bad, and it's not even mediocre. It's good. It's definitely good. You know, yeah.
I would be totally cool if for the rest of Chris Hemsworth's screen time at playing Thor, I'd be super okay with him wearing this suit, because this makes it look like Endgame Thor, not Avengers Endgame, but like this is my final form as Asgardian ruler.
Thor.
Wait, say that again. Let it officially be known before we move on. We're just taking a screenshot right here. This is the official Celtic Essentials MCU Thor suit tier list. Before we add anything else, this is just the MCU. I think we did a damn good job.
Yeah,
I think like this, like it's fairly consistent. You can see the color schemes in each row. Okay, so next up is God of War Ragnarok. God of War Ragnarok. And god damn, this was a game-changing series, dude.
Yeah.
Loved God of War.
I will say that I liked what was the first Norse God of War? Was it just
it was just God of
It was just God of War.
Yeah.
I liked that one better than Ragnarok for several reasons. But I will say that they did at the very least do a very good design for Thor. And I think for Odin too, it was a fairly good design for Odin as well. Although I'm thinking about it, it's kind of funny that you have the king of the Norse gods sound like a mafia boss from like...
I think that was the aesthetic they were going for, because like the Greek family was more like they were more like not gangsters, what like royal family. They're more like royal family, and Norse was more like mafia. I think those were like the aesthetics that were going
I get why they were doing that, because they were like basically because Odin is a plotter in mythology, and because God of War Ragnarok Odin is theoretically more accurate in terms of his personality, besides perhaps the part where he's consistently the bad guy, but we can talk about that in a different video. In terms of just Thor himself, there is multiple things. For one, he's got red hair.
Yeah, the ginger was amazing.
And that is how he's described in... which one was it? I don't know if it was... not Locusena. It was in one of the Eddas. The one where Thor has to dress up in a bridal veil and trick a giant to thinking he's marrying the goddess Freya so he can steal his hammer back. That's an actual myth. And it's literally like freaking Red Riding Hood, except the roles are reversed, where he's like, what red eyes you have? And Loki's like, oh, well, she was just so excited she couldn't sleep. Oh my, what red hair you have, that kind of thing.
Can you imagine this Thor doing this?
That would be hilarious. Freaking, although to be fair, the giant should have known the whole time that was Thor.
What a deep voice you have.
It's like, what an appetite you have. You've eaten the whole table's worth of food. You've drinking the... whatever. Anyway, I like the hammer, too, because it does, as you can see, actually go more off of the actual shape that you would see in the necklaces that we dig up in... and I say we, I mean, just people in general, dig up in graves and stuff in Sweden and in Norway and whatnot. My one complaint would be that if he's the enforcer, the warrior of this family, why is he exposing himself? I guess it's because like exposing his chest to blows. Yeah. And I guess the explanation you could give is because no one's beat him before. So it's almost like a show of bravado. Yeah. It's like waving the red cloak before the bull hits you. Yeah. It's like, see if you can hit me. No, you can't. Yeah. But that kind of ends up being a little, slightly at least, his undoing.
That, and it kind of is in a weird way a distraction.
Yeah.
Because that is the most protected area of his body. Like, it's not even that his chest is uncovered, it's just his stomach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, kind of his chest. It's sort of like this region.
Would his chest, or like, would his stomach be more protection than armor? Fuck no. But, I guess that's just another excuse I could be willing to give it.
Yeah.
I understand everything about that design. I loved everything. It's, they again, I think it's kind of the same thing with MCU Thor, where they took way more inspiration from Norse mythology.
Yeah.
But they still made it their own.
Yeah.
And I think this was a fantastic interpretation of them. Again, all points for creativity, and he had aura. I'll tell you that.
I will say, mythologically speaking, I don't know if they would have thought of him as being fat, but I still think it works because he is described, even in mythology, as drinking a lot of alcohol, and we all know what that does to a person.
Yeah.
So it works. It does work, and within the context given. So I would give it... What would you give it? You rate first.
This is where I was planning on giving an S.
Okay, I agree.
I think I would put this.
Yeah, I agree. The next one's a bit interesting. What was the?
Yeah,
let me read off.
Pause.
At Patrick Animation on Facebook made this next one, and we're rating it because it's meant to be an edit of Marvel Thor, as if he was mythological Thor. There's some interesting detail. This is basically just to show people what the actual mythology would have said. Like, if you see he's got a little shard of something in his forehead, and you might be like, what the hell is that? Well, it's like in one myth, a giant throws a stone at him and he breaks it with his hammer, but his shard still hits him in the head. And I don't think they ever describe it getting taken out. So
I actually never even noticed that until you I thought it was his hair.
Yeah, and then he's got a longer beard and it's red, just like Ragnarok Thor, God of War Ragnarok Thor. And he's got the hammer design. And he's got the gloves in this one, which is nice because I don't think any other rendition of him gave him the Jarngraper.
That, and like there's multiple different photoshops and edits of turning MCU Thor into a more Norse realistic Thor, but I think this is, first off, the best one that you sent this to me, but this is the best one that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But on top of it, this is the only one that isn't just plated with armor.
Yeah.
Outside of the picture that we already have on here, but that's not fan art.
Well, yeah, because this is, in a way, I can excuse that. Like, I know I was complaining about the Thor, not the Thor, the God of War Ragnarok Thor not having armor on his midsection, but if we're going off of just Norse mythology, well, for one thing, he could have chainmail underneath this outer shirt or whatever you'd call it, tunic, but on the other hand, he is in mythology meant to be more of a working man's, like a common man's god. Like Odin is a god for kings to worship because he's like secrets and mysteries and royalty and going to Valhalla. But Thor was always like, I'm just going to protect you and your crops from the demons that are out there and the giants that are out there. And that's my whole deal, is I'm going to go ride around in my chariot with my goats, which you can see in the picture. They show him with a goat and a servant boy, both of which he had in mythology. The goats that would draw his chariot. And I can't believe no one gives him the Jarngraper in any depiction. Because you'd think you'd want a cool pair of gauntlets to go with the fit, so to speak. Now, I'm biased towards this design, obviously, because I enjoy the mythology quite a bit more even than the movies. I don't think I can say the same for my co-star here. Well, how would you rate? I want to see what your rating of myth accurate Thor is.
My first thought is like, I love the creativity, but that goes directly towards the artist. Like the artist's creativity and being able to make that basically come alive, because that doesn't look edited. That looks like you fucking put Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just drew over it too.
No, they actually got him down there and he put on the suit.
But if you look, it looks like he just painted over it or like colored pencil.
When you zoom in, it does kind of look like that.
Yeah, I think that's what he did, but it's really cool because it actually looks nice.
The color schemes, I kind of like, if you're going for a Norse depiction of Thor, I do want him to have red hair. Maybe not the highest ginger that you could find, but like Thor Ragnarok, God of War Ragnarok was perfect. It was like a darker ginger, if that's the vibe that you're going for. I don't like seeing him with blonde hair. It looks weird. Because when you say blonde, I immediately think MCU Thor. Maybe that's just my comic brain going at it. I think, anyways, the whole color scheme is like what really wraps this all together.
Yeah.
So that's good on Jonathan.
No, it was Patrick.
The racist. What's your name, white boy? Patrick. Jonathan. Never mind. Bit's over.
Okay.
I would honestly put this in either A or S.
Okay. I would put it
maybe B.
Maybe B.
Maybe like anywhere. It's way up.
Okay.
There.
Well then.
No. A or S. Because it's definitely not with B.
We can average it. I would say, even though I really love it, I know I'm biased because it's I prefer just I want to see the things that actual ancient people were thinking of come alive. So just to even it out, I'm gonna put it in A because
you're not gonna put it in S plus?
No, because I do like that there is a creativity factor and like we're adapting the character. And I do like, even though it isn't accurate, I do like some of the details on the other ones.
I think it should be an S.
Yeah?
Yeah, because like I think it kind of completes the triangle of like each iteration of Thor. Like this is the best of each property. This is North. This is God of War. This is MCU,
okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Okay. We'll go with S then. All right. So, old painting, old like Victorian era painting Thor.
Now this is a classic. I remember this is actually one of the first conversations that we ever had together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Maybe not like one of the first ever, but when we were like really like, hey, like I like this guy, like we're friends.
Yeah.
This is one of the first conversations we had. But either way, this is a classic, and this always just pops in my head every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I will say that obviously the person who was painting this was wanting to represent Thor like a Greek god. I think.
Maybe actually, yeah,
I think because a lot at the time people were classically trained, so they were used to things like Greco-Roman architecture, and statues and old Renaissance type music and stuff,
wall paintings and shit.
Wall paintings. That. So obviously, when he was envisioning this character, then I'm assuming this person is Scandinavian who painted this, right? So I'm assuming he had heard this story young, as like this is like one of our cultural touchstones from back in the day, but we're modernizing now. All the world is getting more Renaissance-y and stuff. They want to depict their look. We're on the same standing as the Greeks.
Yeah. Right.
So they're depicting Thor as if he was like Apollo, as if he was like Zeus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the I guess the context of the picture itself. Usually when you just Google Norse Thor, you'll just get him standing there and you'll just get the image of what he could have looked like. But this is him in action.
Yeah.
This is like a court painting of like what happened, like paint the picture. What is he doing?
Yeah.
And Thor's doing Thor shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think in the picture, if you zoom out on the picture, he's even like in a chariot. And like,
I actually don't remember what the rest of the picture looked like.
Here, let me see.
Well, you don't Google on the phone.
Yeah, here.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Look, he's got the goats. Look, here.
Oh,
look.
there we go.
Look, he's got the goats and he's slaying giants.
That's pretty badass.
He's on the chariot and he's striking them down as he goes, and the lightning is like coming down, like being summoned by the hammer.
I didn't even notice. It looks like he has a cloak too.
Yeah, he's got like a fur cape on.
It's very cool, very cool. But see, like when you just look around, it's just like him just standing there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To me, this is kind of the roots of where we get Marvel Thor.
Was this made like before?
I think it was in the 1800s this was painted. Or I think. Let's see.
It could be that or reversed, but regardless, I think I'm leaning towards B tier for this because it is a very cool depiction of Thor. It just doesn't nail anything perfectly. You know what I mean? Like the action of it does, like the storytelling that the painting presents, absolutely nails 100%. But the clothing,
1872, and I was right to say it was somebody who was Scandinavian.
Look at that.
Martin Eskilvinge, a Swedish artist. Yeah, he painted it in 1872. I would say B is a good place for it.
I was going to say B would be perfect.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, there you go.
There you go, yep. There's the Thor tier list. Yep. Here. Okay, yeah.
Ready?
Yep, go.
What the fuck are you doing in my house? Give me just 1 second. I'm going to make sure that we're still recording because I'm kind of scared it's going to stop recording. That's what I look like? Fuck.
Yep. Here. Okay, there you go.
That's pretty badass.
I don't know how that will look on camera, but we'll see.